Welcome to the Conscious First. I'm Sabine. Today I'm doing part 2 of the 60's Babies and Emotion, and the subtitle is Strong on the Outside. So what does that mean? Now, in part 1 I was talking about how I was growing up in the 60's and how we've survived it. Now today I want to look at how as adults it's affecting us, or how our adult life how it affected our adult life, shall we say it that way. So born in the 60's, we are sort of as reliable, and people will come for us to advice. We often don't panic in a crisis and don't make a fuss and just get on with things in a situation. However, when you be trained to keep emotions inside you, that's going to build a wall around you. It's almost like an armor, because if you're told or being programmed as a child, or as I call it, in being indoctrinated as a child, showing emotions is a weakness, so you learn to build like a very high wall around you, and nothing can touch you, and you won't let anyone in. That doesn't mean things don't hurt. We just learned that you can't show it, and because it's a long time period you get trained in this, or teached, or whatever other name you want to call it. I can speak for myself, because I learned not to show emotions. It wrecked up my adult life massively for decades. I was not prepared to go into a marriage and have children, for example. I was not prepared to go into long-term relationships and have successful relationships, shall we say. I was taught and trained into being like some dough, molding myself into the person I thought they need my partners. So I functioned, and I was not being myself. So obviously that's not very good for any relationship, but it also makes you an easy target for people who are abusers, because you literally do as you're told, as I said in the first video, and it really programs you for this kind of stuff. Now this is my experience, and again, this is no blame game towards parents or grandparents. This is just a fact, how it is. When you never learned how to assert yourself, being decisive, thinking for yourself, so to speak, but give other people the role to lead. I mean, look at the world these days. The government's trying to use us as like we are children. They're trying to control us, like we have nothing to say about things. They bring up so many laws, shall we say. They are really things, they should be common sense, and every single person should be able to decide for themselves what to think, how to behave. If we do not learn and teach our children that certain actions have consequences, for example, not meaning having in a negative way, consequences, but that every action has a consequence in a way. We need to be able to, as an individual, to think for ourselves and making sure that we don't hurt others around us, whether that is humans or animals or the planet, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day we're all part of the one. So yeah, I came a bit off the topic, sorry about that. So you build that wall around you like an armor, so nobody can touch you and hurt you more inside. But that little girl or that little boy inside really hurts, even if you're not capable of showing it. So the people around you often can't see what's actually going on, and that is because we learned not to show emotions. And that's the real cost of being strong, that eventually the dam bursts and lots of issues are coming out. You're realizing your life is not what you wanted it to be. You maybe not with the person you wanted to be. You may not have the job you wanted it to be, and you have to put in years and years of work to deal with the inner problems and the issues. Now, they are different for every individual, I know that. I know for a fact it's hard work. So, this kind of things are really, because we not learned that about the emotions, we haven't had the antenna to use our gut instinct, shall we say. And my gut instinct, which I only learned about in the last 10 years to listen to it, has never let me down once. So if I now get in a situation where I have to meet new people, or where I am meeting new people, and I get a very negative feeling, I'll take a step back, assess the situation, and then I may try again or may step away completely. So now I am looking after myself and more happy about it as well. So yeah, and the upbringing, as I said, strong on the outside, was all about survival. The raising of babies in the 60's. Now, we've been told never to complain, that's another one, not to ask for help. You have to keep it inside in your waste bin. And because we didn't see anything different in our parents, as a child you really learn by example. Whether that is your parents, the teachers, the society, or when you're in your teenage years, you got idols in the music, and so on. So it causes really a lot of grief and stress and so on, and all that gets swept under the carpet, like we say in Germany. It gets buried very, very deep. And this kind of thing is almost getting like a coping mechanism, which I call it having an elephant skin. So nothing touches me, everything jumps off on me, or bounces off on me, I think is the right word. And it is seen, obviously, by the outside world as being resilient and can-do myself attitude. But in reality, it makes you feel isolated and alone. More and more people, because they see you as strong and resilient, they will come to you for help, because they know you don't judge them. However, helping others is great, Absolutely, don't get me wrong, it needs to be, but it needs to come from the heart, and we cannot forget our own problems. So before you can help someone else, help yourself, get yourself into a good place where you need to be. And that is really so important. And again, you being seen as this nurturer, looking after everyone else, just not yourself. Again, this is another thing what was very common in the 60s. They would have called, when we talk today about self-care, they would have said that's selfish. So you had to be there for everyone else, but not for yourself. In the meaning, that's how I see it, or come to see it, is you're not important. You are not important enough to being looked after. Whether that's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. It's a feeling as it such, and that really puts your self-esteem and your confidence literally non-existent in a way, even if you don't show it. So yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about today, as looking at being strong on the outside, but the inside, or the inner child, not really strong. So the takeaway of it, you always give and give until the vessel finally breaks, or the dam breaks. And nobody really knows the real you. So who are you as a person? Now my question is, anyone else has similar experiences? Please do let me know. I would love to read your comments or your stories. So this will be it for today. In the third part of 60's Babies and Emotion, the subtitle is I'm Fine. We'll be looking at the repercussion of that. When you always tell this polite thing, I'm fine. I'm sure you heard that, and I'm sure you can read between the lines. So great, have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.